Hello, everybody.
How are we?
I'm John Sherber,
I'm Justin
and
Ketchai.
this is Sundays.
At the station.
And today we have quite the episode for you. We're going to be talking about something that, most people have had experience with. Not everybody, but most of us have spent some. You ever spent a day in the car? Even half a day in the car? A long period of time traveling, be it car, train, plane, automobile, whatever? You ever taken a road trip?
You wake up early, you get that early morning air, just floating around.
Crisp.
You just woke up.
Some birds up too.
And you're just ready to get back to bed in the cart again. I love that.
Mm-hmm. We're talking about, folks, road trips. Most of us have experienced them, especially in the great country of the US of A, where everything seems to be farther apart and yet so close together. And so today we're going to be talking about, I don't know, some of our experiences with road trips, some of our experiences driving to different places. We've both had experiences that are probably similar and yet different because we're going to different places, doing different things.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's going to be the focus of today's episode, driving, road trips. From childhood to now. I will ask Justin, what is the first road trip you remember?
That's exactly the first question I had for you.
Shit. Well, how about you? How about you ask it then?
I have an alternate question because I prepared for that. The earliest road trip I remember being on might very well be Rockport, which John knows about me. Rockport is a little town in Massachusetts that it's my favorite place to travel, and I just blew up that spot. So, but
it's gonna get really popular now.
Yeah, now
all 10 viewers,
I
they're gonna come.
shouldn't have said anything. But yeah, it's just a quaint little town.
Hamlet, I think. Is it a hamlet?
I think it's a town.
It's not a hamlet.
I would not be surprised.
Put my Robin's eggs in a hamlet.
I swear.
I'll check it up. You keep going with you.
I swear from what I've looked at, it says town of Rockport.
And so, the road to Rockport, similarly paved as your road here to school. It's about halfway. About half of the trip is the same.
The way to get from Rochester, where my parents live, to New Paltz, and the way to get from Rochester to, Rockport is, you take I-90 most
Driving
of the way,
I-90, and then you go off towards the Boston Turnpike, and the rest is
Mass
history.
Turnpike, which is still I-90, which I just realized the other day. But yeah, it's just a quaint little town north of Cape Cod. It's in Cape Ann, which the more popular town next to Rockport is Gloucester, which there's the movie The Perfect Storm was filmed partly there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and Gordon's fish sticks are made in Gloucester.
Fucking A, dude.
Yeah, it's a good little town. It's
Essex County, man.
yeah.
100%.
Essex is a great town as well. Woodman's, it's I guess it'd be a lobster shack is there. Woodman's is bomb. They're credited with clam chowder, like
the best.
we made clam chowder.
They made it.
Like
first.
that kind of thing. Yeah.
Some guys take these clams on the beach and make them into a soup, a
Yeah.
thick soup. And someone said, "Do you mean a chowder?" And he said, "Sure."
Rada rada.
And the rest, rada. And the rest is history.
How about you?
Yeah, so every summer since I was a kid, we would go to Canada from about age 3 to about age 18, give or take. And interesting bit of trivia, my 18, 19, I think it was my senior year of high school, maybe my freshman year of college, was my first time being in the United States for the 4th of July. It was a big year. I went, I did all the family, there was a parade, did all the fireworks, because every year for the 4th of July, we are in Canada. And so it's a quaint little trip. Head around Lake Ontario, up through the border into Ontario County in Canada. And it's this, we drive, slowly gets less populated as you drive.
Yeah.
And
it's cool how that happens.
yeah, and it was always very funny because the last few towns that we drove through before you get to the cabin we always stayed at were not towns. I remember the first time we saw a person outside.
Yeah.
And we were like, we were always like, no one lives here. It's like a ghost town. And everyone's like we never saw any movement ever. We never saw anything. And then I remember the first we saw an old lady. We're like, someone lives here still. That's cool because we didn't know
Yeah,
if someone
yeah.
lived there or not.
That's ridiculous.
And then you drive through like this swamp, and I was always like, "Oh, the swamp monster killed everyone in town, but no one knows about it because that's how small this town is." It's like a church and an auto body shop. That's the town.
Somebody who left that town 30 years ago comes back and is like, "Where?"
Gee,
It got everyone.
Yeah, I think there's a restaurant which I've never seen before. I've never seen a town that small in my life. And then you drive to the cabins. You spend the week in the cabins, fishing and stuff. No cell service. Beautiful area.
Yes.
So that's my first road trip memory myself, and I like a good road trip.
I do too. I mean, I think that anybody can enjoy a road trip if they are open to being in the car. That's the only stipulation.
It is in a car.
So, but whether you like driving or just like chilling, like there's if you don't like driving, you can chill, and if you don't like
Chilling,
you can drive. But if you don't like being in a car, I guess it's not for you. But I think there's something to be said about the experience of being in that space, all packed, excited to just like be going somewhere. It could even be the road trip itself. Just
But
like
it's the physical. It's nice.
you're traveling somewhere.
Got all your
and,
stuff.
and y'all are doing the work. It's not
Yes.
like you're hopping in a plane, walking in. Not there's anything bad about planes.
Fast travel to the next location.
You take an axe and you just
Half a Zan.
Yeah. No. Just like Drizzy.
Just like Drizzy. I hated them as a kid. I have very high energy. I don't know if you can tell from the podcast, but my hands like to move. And as do my hands like to move, so does the rest of my body.
Yeah.
And so when you put
So
me,
you don't have moving hands.
and you met me when we were like 17. So you gotten 17 and up, and you
Yeah.
know that you could probably see in your head how I'd have trouble.
Yes.
Imagine me
Used
as
to
an
be a lot more
8-year-old.
hyper than you are
Imagine
now.
me as an 8-year-old.
Oh, yeah, ridiculous.
Imagine me as an 8-year-old
Ridiculous.
in a car
Yeah.
for 6 hours.
Yeah.
Now, imagine my family in a car with me as an 8-year-old for 6 hours.
Yeah.
I pity those people.
Yeah.
It was horrible. I could never stay. I was always bored. There's only so many movies you can watch, books you can read. Eventually, you're just like, hey. And I found my solace in music.
Yes.
It was the only way I could survive these road trips.
Yes.
I learned at a young enough age. My little CD player. I'd burn a few CDs just for the trip itself.
Little Walkman.
Graduated
Type
CD
of thing.
player, but it's like like it was the shape of a CD, little circle.
Yeah, it's like a
Drop
Walkman.
Is that? Well, I don't know. Mine was probably some off-brand Sony.
You probably had some newer one.
Best
Walkmans are
Buy,
older.
but yeah, I was like Walkman.
Sony
sounds
is
cooler.
Walkman. Just
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, just a little shitty like
I
late
had
'90s
that,
CD
yeah.
player. Graduated into an MP3 player, which at the time I would correct everyone. It's an MP4 player because it was. It was. I had video on there.
Wow.
It was really
what,
cool.
What like what kind was it?
Black.
Cool.
That's all I know.
Yeah.
Black with buttons. If that
Nice.
narrows it down for you.
I had a SanDisk MP3 player.
Hell
And it
yes.
was just blue pixels on the screen to form the menus and shit.
Crazy.
It was just one color. and then-
Adorable.
yeah.
Hey, 2000.
It was like this big. It was ridiculous.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is my whole life, I think, due to the fact that it was such a important thing. The only way I was really getting through some of these road trips is cemented my favorite part of being in the car is music. When I'm driving,
Yeah.
less so. Driving is fun, but when I'm in the passenger seat, headphones on, music in, I always just like half fall asleep against the window. I'm
It's-
kind of asleep, kind of aware of the music that's playing. It takes me to like this emotional state and then turns off my thoughts. And it's to this day, I just at a young enough age that was just what I would do, and it's very soothing to me. It's my favorite part of being a passenger in a car.
I would agree with you. I would like very much to be able to read in the car, but I get headaches. I can't do that.
That's
So yeah, that sucks. So I defaulted to enjoying music in the car as well. Everybody has that shared experience of like you put on a sad song, you stare at the window like you're in a music video.
home.
Yeah. But yeah, like listening to music in a car just provides you with the opportunity to listen full
Yes.
to something. And I know you and I both like listening to albums.
Album.
You're also a big playlist guy, but yeah, it's like one of those. You sit back, you listen to the entire thing. If it has a concept, you enjoy that concept, and then you could do another one if you want. You know, if
When I
the
was
road
a-
trip is long enough.
When I was 11, we were on vacation in Massachusetts. Or we were in Connecticut, actually. And I was told in Connecticut that the reason we were in Connecticut for a vacation was because Dad was looking at jobs in Connecticut and we might move there, which was not met with happiness for me and my sister.
I bet.
And I spent the whole...
How old were you?
Like 11.
Yeah.
I spent the whole car ride home finding songs that would be perfect to play on the day they made me move out of town.
He did it.
And like then it started with some sad stuff, moved
Yeah.
on to like hopeful, like life is a highway. Like, dude, I was so mad. And I was like, if I'm gonna be crushed like this,
You're pulling a me in junior year.
just I was like, no. They told me I was like, no, I'm not moving. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm like, no, stay with Ethan. I'm not moving. My friends are here. Classic.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, what if girls don't think I'm pretty in Connecticut? I don't even know it's in there.
Connecticut. You're breaking it down. That's a weird place.
So, I have two kind of random questions.
Well, you asked a question first. I was hoping to get
Go
one of
for
mine
it.
in
Yeah,
here.
that wasn't one of my questions. I was just trying to start it off, but
Oh.
go for it. You're right.
I'm gonna jump from past to future. Do you have anywhere in particular that you're interested in road tripping to?
That'd be a good
And-
question for later, you little dumbass. That's good.
Yeah, we'll
go
shake
there.
it up a little
We'll go
bit.
there.
Yeah. And if so, and depending on what kind of road trip it is, any particular routes?
Okay, yeah. Hey, I'll answer you this because me and Trevor, you probably are invited. I don't know if you'd want to. Trevor was talking about this recently. Friend of the show, Trevor Gross. Follow him on Call of Duty. He gets kills.
All the time.
Trevor R. Gross, Essential Oils. He's gonna hate me for giving all the information.
He's a real
If he
killer.
ever watches this,
He's a real killer.
he is. Seriously.
Yeah.
We have talked a lot about moving to different areas of the country, and so we're kind of trying to decide if we want to like road trip to some of those places.
Yes.
And we've looked into areas like the Carolinas, Austin, Texas,
Yes.
California.
Yeah.
And we have talked about road tripping that down the eastern seaboard, maybe
Yeah.
stopping in Tennessee or New Orleans or something.
So just doing a little loop-de-loop.
Yeah, it'd be like 2 or 3 weeks of like on the road,
Road
and like
tripping.
stay and play. It'd be a crazy road trip,
Yeah.
but it would be an interesting one. So we might do that. It's the kind of thing I've been thinking of recently as an interesting road trip way to see the country. I've seen a lot of states. I've been to like probably 15, 20 states, but I have not been.
I haven't been far west at all.
I've
The
been
furthest
west
west I've been is
twice, yeah.
Ohio.
The wonderful land of Ohio.
I've been north. I've been south. I've been to Europe, but I haven't been
East.
past Ohio.
but never west.
I've been to the Far East.
You've been west.
London.
The far east.
London.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, so that's me. How about you? What do you want to go to like, what do you, I can see you as like a Guadalajara, Mexico kind of guy.
Interesting. That interests me, but when I think of like, so I'm very interested in like a cross country road trip. How I've thought about it, just I think, kind of subconsciously, has been down to the middle of the country, so like middle of the eastern seaboard, and then just straight across. So through the
Nice.
Midwest, directly like Kansas and maybe like the top of Oklahoma kind of thing, and
I'm out of my depth here.
yeah, and then I really want to see like the Rockies, so it would definitely go through Colorado.
Nice.
And for sure,
Colorado's dope. Estes, go to Estes National Park.
I feel like my parents. That's in
There's-
Colorado.
Yeah,
I
there's
think my parents have been there.
there's mooses there,
They saw a lot of meese. Yeah,
mice,
mice.
moose. I'm
I'm thinking of just absolutely disgusting mice. They're
way.
tiny. No, they're not that tiny though.
Oh, I was thinking big.
They're like cat sized.
Interesting. That's disgusting.
Yeah,
Disgusting.
we can all agree on that. But yeah, we'll talk about that other thing off podcast too.
That other thing. Oh yeah. Whatever. How about this? Do you have any like strangely vivid memories, considering how unimportant the moment was from a road trip when you were younger? This is kind of a shot in the dark because you might say no.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Strangely unimportant.
Just like you're like, oh, I remember this specific thing, and it's not an important moment. It's not like it was like a big thing on the road trip. It was like, oh shit, yeah, remember that? And you think about it, you're like, that.
I can't think of anything particularly crazy.
Not crazy. That's the thing. It's like
Yeah.
a little thing, but you
I
remember
just-
it because you're 7 or some shit.
Yeah, I just have memories of a memory of we're driving back from Florida, Disney World.
World of
Great
the
trip.
Mouse.
And it was raining, thundering. There might have been a tornado watch. I feel like that was part of it. And we weren't that far north at all. And I remember being amazed that we were only like 2 states away from Florida or some shit. And it was night. So I don't know what was up.
The Florida drive is dope.
Maybe I'm making that part up.
Some
Maybe I'm
classic
remembering it wrong.
Justin.
But it was storming bad, and my parents were both tired as shit. Madison and I, my sister, were already sleeping in the backseat, and we wake up to pulling into a motel, pouring rain, and we just all run inside of the motel, pretty much just crash on the bed. Wake up at like 5 a.m. Keep going.
That's a classic.
This is family, a little. Like it's not that crazy of a situation, but like it's the most mild National Lampoon style thing.
Yeah, the little catch eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If there was something creepy about that motel, then it'd be very like Clark Griswold, National Lampoon,
Yes.
Vacation. But how about you? Yeah, I know you
the
always have
smallest
some of that
memory.
Yeah.
And yet, because it happened more than once. This happened over the years, all the time.
shit. You live the same memory multiple times.
It's the same kind of shit. Yeah.
No.
Same.
Same exact.
No, same exact. Same person. Road tripping. Gotta stop for gas. We got the boat hooked up to the big car we're in. My dad and I would always go in to get the Dunkin' Donuts.
Classic.
Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin' and show. So does the Sherburne family.
That is the sponsor of Road Trips, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, my mom would pump the gas. My sister would sit in the car and do nothing. Classic. Me and Dad would go inside, get some Wawa, water, snacks. He'd get coffees for the adults. We'd get hot chocolates for the kiddos. Me and my sister. I always got coffee cake muffin.
Yep.
So the vibe, as a kid, the vibe. Because here's the thing. Parents are like, no desserts. But muffins, somehow, qualify as breakfast. Even the sugar ones from Dunkin' Donuts.
Well, even
What's
certain
the most-
cakes qualify if you think about it.
Yeah, there's some like
Like a pound cake.
a pound cake is good. Yeah. And
Like a little slice of that.
I liked pound cake as a kid, so it
Yeah.
makes sense. But a coffee cake muffin is the closest thing to dessert you could get.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get away with a double chocolate muffin, but my parents were usually like, double chocolate in the morning, which I don't understand. They were cool.
One
with, like,
chocolate might be cool, but 2?
yeah, and like going to Canada as a kid, my parents didn't like sugary cereal all that much.
Yeah.
So we only could get Cookie Crisp once a year because just the principle. Little cookies? Really? Little cookies for breakfast?
You know, they have an Oreo one now.
Ah.
It's just Oreos. That's all it is.
It's the little mini Oreos.
You might as well buy Oreos, crush them all up, and pour milk on them, which would taste great. It's just like not breakfast.
Here's a kid. Here's a hot take.
Here's a kid.
Here's a hot take. Here's a hot take. You played sports, all of them. Here's a hot take.
Yeah. That's right.
The kids whose parents would bring like the super sugary dessert snacks when it was their week to bring the snacks for the soccer team, those kids suck now. All of them. The kids' mom was like, we brought Oreos for the whole team. Those kids didn't learn any consequence as a child.
Yeah, I mean,
You have the organic gummy parents or like we're going to
Yeah.
give you like the little sticks with the cheese.
Yes.
Those kids had some hardship.
I'll say this much because I moved, so these kids to me are less vivid than I remember now.
Fuck these kids.
Well, so I remember that being a big thing. I also played a lot of sports, so I can't like it was I was seeing less of the same parents though.
Yes,
So it was
yes.
just like one year I played this sport and this parent was the sugar snack parent. And I was like, "Oh, cool" in the moment, but like as soon as I moved on to soccer, I didn't remember who brought the sugary snack to baseball, you know? So I think that's why I'm failing to remember it. I know exactly what you're talking about, though, and I can say that of all the people that I remember from my childhood, I feel like those kids aren't them.
Weird kids.
So,
they
yeah.
come in passing.
Yeah,
And they
so-
set fire to some
Well, because they're popular
School
in
fixture,
elementary school,
18.
and then it's like,
It's the same as the fastest kid in like the third grade.
Oh, yeah.
No one remembers him. He was
Oh.
hot shit in third grade. He
Pacer
probably got his
test
first
kid?
kiss
Yeah.
first kiss early. But these kids live fast and they die young.
but now we're at the station, you know.
Yes.
So the long game goes to us.
It's true. If you have anything else, I have one other thing. If you have anything else, feel free. I have an aesthetic thing.
Okay.
It's the best visual you've ever had on any sort of a road trip.
The best visual.
Yeah, outside, out the window. You're like,
Mhm.
wow, I love that. Could be
Mhm.
anything. But what's the best? If you remember one, the best visual. Paint
Oh.
me a picture, Stin Man.
Lordy. You know what? This might be really recent.
Damn.
Yeah.
It was yesterday. He was driving to Wegmans.
No. Well, to that point, the area that we're in is beautiful to drive through. It's not a road trip, but we have the Shawangunk Ridge up there, which if you're driving through that in the fall or summer or whatever, it's beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just like a turny drive and leaves falling, and it's a good drive. But I think my answer would be last year. I went with my girlfriend's family to Maine. First time I went to Maine on like a trip or anything.
Yes.
And it's a little town called Georgetown. And it's just like the dotted kind of peninsulas and islands and that kind of thing, like Thousand Islands type of thing, but I've never been there. So it was like that similar kind of vibe, and it was just water and like trees and really just like beautiful.
Hell yeah.
So it's like the sun shimmering on all of that.
That is beautiful.
It's probably mine. How about you?
Kind of cheating. The year was 2018. I left Rochester in the middle of the night, at midnight, and spent the night on a train to Chicago.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I didn't sleep.
Yeah.
I slept for 45 minutes that night. I can't sleep on trains.
I see why you were saying
Who
it's
would've known?
aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's just in the train you're thinking of.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
with Essentially Oil, Killing Machine, Call of Duty Superstar. And we were on the train, and we were up all night. It was really fun as a general trip. We were like on the train. We kept trying to sneak into different cabins that had better seats and kept getting kicked out by the conductor. It happened like 3 times. I was like, Trevor, we're not. He's like, no, it's fine, it's fine. We get there, and then someone would tell, or would check in our seats or some shit. And be like, you can't be in here. And
Was
it
he
happened-
like funny about it?
If not, no.
Oh, wow.
Not at all. So we got in trouble a few times with that. We were in the snack cart till it closed. But we were up all night. And I remember trying to sleep, and I just couldn't fall asleep. And at like 5 o'clock, I like wake up. We're on the kind of the Great Lakes area.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what one, maybe Superior, but we're in that area of the country.
Yeah.
Right? I just like remember the sun rising over completely flat land. And it was just this big pond. It was a
Yeah.
huge pond, like trees in the background, and the sun just rises over it. And I can't even really like showcase what it looked like at all. It was just beautiful. And it was an area of the country I'd never been in my life.
Right.
I've never been in like the Minnesota, Michigan area of our country. Ever.
Yes.
So I was just like, really, it was really beautiful. And I've been looking out the window all night. All these night to day, all that stuff was really cool.
Yeah.
It was just a really interesting sunrise, and it was a very like kind of aesthetic thing. And I remember just being completely taken away by it. I was like,
Yeah.
this is really, really cool. So
Yeah.
that was kind of the best one I think I've had in recent memory.
That's great.
A lot of ground to cover. I think we should probably cut it. There's a lot of stuff I didn't get to that I wanted to. Our only road trip together to Bonnaroo
Yeah.
through Tennessee, Kentucky, etc.
That was a good one.
But we'll get there. Road trip part 2, future podcast.
Mayhaps.
Do you have anything you want to close on specifically?
I highly, if you've never been on a road trip like that, or if you have as a kid and haven't with your friends, great experience. Just because, it's both. You can both be like an individual and like put the music in, read a book, look out the window, that kind of thing, or you can just like have a good time, goofing off or whatever. Not too much horsing around because you got to be safe, but
Horse around. Fuck it.
But just big recommend. The destination is like half of the point. So
The destination isn't the journey. to get to the destination. So enjoy it. And don't just like, it's really easy to like fill your shit up. But, like, look outside.
Yeah.
Don't have your music in the whole time. Like, just enjoy where you are and where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
Take a stop or two that you don't have to take.
Yeah.
You know, pull off to the side of the road. Hit up a town in the state. If you've never been in the state before, hit up a random town to see what the state is actually like.
I bigly regret not stopping in Nashville for some Nashville hot chicken when we were driving through.
Hot chicken is delicious. We'll stop next time.
Yeah. With that,
I'm John Sherburne.
I'm Justin Ketchuk.
And we want to say thanks for tuning in. We will see you next week at Sundays on the Station.
At the station.
On Sunday.
Adios.